Okay, with Jax Kinlaw, Werewolf Margarita is the short film played at the Horror Underground Film Festival. What a great name for a film, Werewolf Margarita. Jax, I loved your origin story and the blog interview, and I love for you to retell how this film, like what was the seed of this idea, how this film got made. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So it started off as an assignment in a screenwriting class where we had to pick a random song lyric out of a hat and make a 5 to 10 page long screenplay about that. And the lyric that I happened to get was I saw a werewolf drinking a Pina Colada, and that's from the song Werewolves of London. So basically, that's where it started. And from there, um, my classroom reading, they all gave really good reactions. Everybody was laughing, and my teacher told me that he'd like to see it get made. And at the time, I didn't really have the means or experience to make something of like such a big scale with, lots of locations and monsters and stuff. So I just kind of put it aside and until I graduated, and I figured it was time to make another film. So this is the one I chose.
And so, what was the other things? Do you remember the other things that came out of people's hats to write a screenplay?
Um, no, I don't. It was so long ago. I was probably like 22 at the time, and I'm
Yeah.
28 now. So yeah, so many years ago. I don't really remember any of the other assignments, but I'm sure
But
there
you
were
just
some good
got you
ones.
got inspired. Is horror your thing? Like, are you a horror fan?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Horror
Okay,
is my favorite genre, especially horror comedy. Um, Action is another one of my favorite genres as well, which we get to see a little bit of action in Werewolf Margarita too. So that
100%.
was fun.
No, because I was just curious about the songs because a lot of songs are love stories, right? Love songs about a female name or so or something, right? I was curious if you
Or
would have had the same inspiration if you know what I mean, if like Penny Lane came out, I guess, right? So,
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I got a different lyric at first, and I ended up trading with someone for the Werewolf Pina Colada lyric
oh,
because,
gotcha,
like,
because that's
I
your
knew
thing,
I love
right?
and exactly. So
Yeah. So this one, its premise is pretty like basic, but there's more obviously depth to your tagline. But a young woman gets stalked by a werewolf. That's your kind of tagline, I guess, right?
yes, sir.
And it's
And I could say more, but I don't want to. I wouldn't want to give anything away to the audience, and I feel like the reveal, the twist at the end is part of what makes the movie really fun.
yeah. Well, the first minute of the film is a female kind of jogging because you're showing the kind of the exposition, I guess, where we are, right? And then it says werewolf margarita. So I'm like, okay, we're on to something here. But she's our protagonist. We seem to like her right away. And then basically, I'm curious, where did you find her? Because she's inspiration. She's kind of integral to your story, I guess, the actress.
Absolutely, we got really lucky with her. So when we decided to do the auditions, we posted them on Backstage,
Yeah.
and she just happened to be one of the people who was available at the time, and she sent us a cover letter. And immediately when she sent the cover letter in, and I saw her face and her profile, um, I was just like, wow, this is exactly what I had pictured in my head this character looking like. Um, so when we did the auditions and her acting was really good too, um, you know, just immediately on the spot, we told her she had the part.
Gotcha. And what about the male?
So, and the female, her name, by the way, is Chloe Chamberlain.
Chloe?
Shout out to Chloe. Um, Sky Folsom is the male character, and he actually played the main character in my thesis film for film school. So I knew that I needed someone for this character of Chester to, have confidence and to be good at acting and to be able to pull off the look. So, yeah, I hit him up and he happened to be available as well. And we did an audition. It was really the same thing. It was a very easy choice for me to choose him.
What was this filmed in Denver?
Yes, it was all filmed in Denver, all Denver filmmakers. Um, yeah, I'm proud of that because, the film industry isn't very big in Denver, but we were able to get the best people together to make this happen.
And then because where did you that bar is such an interesting bar because you got all the classic video games. What a great art
Mhm.
direction. I'm assuming you that was part of the bar that you didn't do that just for the film.
Yeah, it was part of the bar. So that bar was Press Play Bar in Boulder, Colorado. And so my girlfriend, who's also my co-producer, her brother works at that bar. And so he was able to get us a huge discount and we got unlimited time there. And also we could film a night scene during the day because that bar is underground. Um, we just got lucky in the fact that it also looks really freaking cool in that
Mhm.
bar.
So it was what a great art direction because it's like the classic kind of like even the film itself, the credits kind of like have this classic kind of horror vibe to it, I guess, right?
Hmm. Yep. And a lot of that, I like to think we had it pretty good throughout the whole movie. The set decoration uh, was really good. My co-producer, Ellie Marcotte, she did most of the set decoration and, she did a great job with the color coordination and everything. And, I just think that it added to the overall vibe to the film.
And so the car scene, were you driving when you were shooting? I'm just curious, or did you kind of do like the poor man's kind of setup?
Yeah, we did the poor man setup.
It's
Yep.
great. It doesn't.
Um,
It looks like you're driving. It's a great way to. It's a great shooting.
Thank you. Yeah, it took us a couple hours to get it looking good, and I was a little worried during the setup part of it, but
Yeah.
had a great gaffer um, and a great DP. And Tyler Trepid is my was my gaffer, and Gabriel Furman was my DP, and they had a really good creative relationship where they were just able to make things work, and yeah, they made it look really good. I was very happy with it.
Well, they call it the poor man's setup. I don't know why, because I worked on big budget feature films, and they use it, and they have all the money in the world, right? So
I think it's the difference between like using a projector and an LED, like a giant wall of LED screen versus just a little projector that you have to put in front of the window. And that's
yeah,
what we did. So,
yeah, great stuff. And what about like I said, I know you don't want to give too much away, but what about well, we know werewolves in the title, so there's gonna be some makeup and some makeup done. So who did your makeup?
Corey Bryant and Todd DeBricci, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Uh, yeah, and that was one of the things that when I decided to make this movie, I put out a call on Find Film Denver. It's a Facebook page. And, I just asked, is there anybody out there who can do a really cool werewolf? And because if I couldn't find anybody, I wasn't going to make the movie because, the title Werewolf Margarita, the werewolf has to look cool, you know? And thankfully, Corey Bryant hit me up and she was able to make it happen. And I'm really proud of how the werewolf ended up looking. That was 7 hours on the makeup chair that our actor spent.
Yeah, I bet it was a lot going on. And then there's like a purple kind of like I guess like what would you call it, cinematography or lighting kind of setup. What was that idea for that?
Yeah, so when we first set up that shot uh, of, again, trying not to give too away, like of
Yeah.
the woman character in the hallway, right? Uh, my DP set it up, and he just looked at me. He's like, "This is boring." He's like, "We need to jazz this up a little bit." So yeah, there was another room close by in a hallway, and they went and replaced the light bulbs with purple ones, and also using like bigger lights with like soft gels over them. Um, yeah, I thought that was really cool because it definitely just added a lot of the flavor to the scene. I love when people use purple or green or red lights.
Yeah.
Um, Even though you wouldn't really ever have a purple, green, or red light bulb in real life, it just makes sense to the brain when you see it in the movie.
Yeah, 100%. It does work. Yeah. Well, we are in a little bit of fantasy land, right, with your film. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely supposed to be in like another universe, you know.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool film. It's like it's nice. It's a little bit scary. There's lots of twists and turns. Nice, like it's the script that you wrote in that class like 6 years ago, and then the final product did a lot change from that kind of seed to the end?
Really, no. No, it didn't change a whole lot at all. Which was surprising. I thought there were certain things that I was going to have to change. You know, for instance, instead of having a bar scene, I was going to do it at a house party, this kind of situation. Um, because I didn't think I was going to be able to find a bar, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get the amount of extras that I needed. Uh, but yeah, we got lucky with that bar location, just because the connections my co-producer had, and yeah, decided to go with the original scene there. But yeah, other than that, really not much at all changed.
And then when you're in post production, are you happy with like are you like because I see that you edited the film as well, and are you like you like when you after like when you're looking at your footage, are you happy? Like you're like I got a good film here. I think I got something here. I got all the coverage that I need.
Oh yeah, when I sat down, originally I was like, oh my God, like this footage all looks beautiful. This is definitely going to be a good time editing it. One of the biggest problems we ran into though was the running scene, believe it or not, at the beginning. When we first filmed it, we weren't able to get the shots that we needed. And then we had about a month after filming the last scene where everybody was busy. We couldn't do any reshoots or anything. And by the time we did the reshoots, it was summer. So a lot of stuff had grown. So the continuity wasn't there. And so we had to refilm the entire running scene. So I think that ended up being like 3 or 4 shoots in all. That first scene where she's jogging.
Oh, you couldn't do it in one day. You had to go back a couple times.
Yep. Yep.
And and so basically, but it's just an exposition, I guess. Like I don't even know, is it needed? Like even in that beginning scene, is it even needed to tell the story? I'm just curious what your thought is
Yeah.
on it.
You know, it sets up since you see in that very first shot that she's being watched by
Yeah, I
someone.
guess so. Yeah, yeah.
That helps. You know, the rest of the running scene, it really wasn't needed 100%, but I liked it because pacing wise, I think it made for the whole movie, it set a good pace for things to pick up a little bit more gradually instead of just going right into it. And as you were saying earlier, and watching that first running scene with the opening credits, at the end when she goes into her house and you see the title, I've gotten responses from a lot of different audience members that have said like it made them think, okay, like what am I getting into here?
Yeah.
It sets up an element of mystery, which I wanted to create for the audience. So
Oh,
I'm definitely happy in the end that I did it.
it 100% does that for sure. So then the film's doing well, right? You were just telling me off camera that you were just at the Chicago Horror Festival.
Yes, sir. We got back like a week ago. Yeah, the festival was really fun. I got great responses from the audience. I was nervous the night before going to the festival, but then I watched the reaction video from the audience members that you guys sent to me, and I was no longer nervous. I was like, okay, people are getting out of this film what I want. And I'm getting the responses I want. The comedy's hitting well. So that was a big confidence boost for me. So thank you for that.
Oh, no, no problem. So I guess you enjoyed it then.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was really cool. Uh, And again, all the different audience members just they all said a few things that I was hoping they would say when I got the feedback. So yeah, it was very vindicating. Let's say that.
And so one last question, I was going to ask you about the sound design. Who did your sound design?
Jacques Deerman is his name. He did the sound design, Foley, the score, and on-set sound mixing. He's very good. Um, we had a lot of fun doing it. The process of doing the score, it took longer than I expected. And I think that's one thing that I've learned in making this film is to have what you want the score to sound like in mind, even as you're writing the script. Um, because a lot of doing the score between me and him was just figuring out how we wanted it to sound. I would go and find samples from other movies and send those to him, and he would send me something back. And it was just a lot of back and forth emails, and it was a fun process. But definitely one that I'm going to be more prepared for next time that I make a film.
Oh yeah, that's your takeaway, like for the next film.
Yeah, definitely. It's especially I think once, you know, I get to the editing process, um, really start thinking about the score as one of the first things because it sets a tone for the film and it really tells the audience how to feel about every particular situation in the film. I mean, if you put a comedy score on a lot of horror movies, like they're suddenly going to be funny.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just a bigger part of the feel than I anticipated beforehand. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Like I'm super stoked with how the score turned out. I think it really works. Um, but it's just one of those things that because I had to do a lot of listening to scores from other movies, just sitting down for hours and listening to other scores and trying to figure out the vibe that really fit with my movie. Um, it would have been nice to just have been thinking about that beforehand because it definitely took us a couple months or yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3 months to for the score alone. Um, but glad we took our time with it.
And okay, so the film's doing well. You're all set to go. You got got some good reactions from the crowd. That all Denver, like you said, all Denver cast, right?
Yep.
And
All Denver
and
cast, all Denver filmmakers, crew, everything.
and I've actually talked to probably you're probably like the fourth or fifth person this year I've already talked to from Denver. So like something's going on there. Something's going on in the great state of Colorado in terms of filmmaking.
I'd like to think so. Yeah, it does feel like the industry is growing here a lot and a lot more people are making films, you know. Um, I went to a networking event not too long ago that my gaffer Tyler Tripp threw. Um, and he put together this networking event at a beer garden in Denver for the Denver film industry, and like 400, 500 people showed up. And it's like I didn't even know that there was that many people in the Denver film industry. So it's nice. Our resources are growing, and we're just getting everybody's making more films in Denver, I guess.
That's so cool. And then so what are you doing now? What's next for you?
Um, what's next for me? I'm currently writing a longer version of Werewolf Margarita as a feature. Um, it kind of plays out like an anthology, uh, but all the characters at some point and their stories end up connecting in some way. Kind of reminds me of Pulp Fiction a bit. It's like that world, but if vampires and werewolves and other monsters exist. Um, so yeah, I'm writing that out right now, and I've got a few other short films lying around. So really, I'm just kind of seeing where this goes in the festival circuit. And I've been writing, and you know, uh, once I'm finished going through all the festivals that I'm going to do, then I'll get on to the next project and start making something else.
Well, congratulations, man, on this film. It's really good tone wise. It's got that, it strikes that nice balance that's hard to do in a film. And yeah, you're definitely on your way. So I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on.